Okay, in this short video, we are just going to look at how body water content can be controlled, and we're going to look at how we can teach this using the model. We'll have a look at how you can go through and explain how negative feedback works with it first, and then we will go and have a look at just how we can discuss the structure of the renal system. Right, so here's the first video on how negative feedback can be talked about using the model.
So, concentration of water in your blood is controlled by the hypothalamus. So, the salivary receptors that detect the concentration of the water in your blood by actually monitoring salt concentration in the blood. If you have a high salt concentration, that means that there's less water in the blood, so you've got a low water concentration. If you've got a low salt concentration, that probably means that it's diluted, so you've probably got too much water in the blood. So, if we start off looking at this, so if the water content in your blood is too low, as detected in your hypothalamus, ADH is released by the pituitary gland into the blood. Right, ADH stands for antidiuretic hormone. Right, antidiuretic means that you're going to lose less water. So that antidiuretic hormone passes all the way around your blood system to the kidneys. So this causes the kidneys to reabsorb more water into the blood, so you're making less urine. So therefore, the concentration of water in your blood will increase. Alternatively, if the concentration of water in your bloodstream is too high, that will also be picked up by your hypothalamus. So the amount of ADH it's producing is going to be lowered. So therefore, if less ADH is lowered, then there's going to be less antidiuretic hormone that gets to your kidneys. So therefore, less water will be reabsorbed. You'll produce more urine and get rid of the water like that. So, in terms of how this fits into our negative feedback diagram then. So, if the level of water falls too low, that will be detected by the pituitary gland. So therefore, the response would be that the ADH released from the pituitary gland would increase, which would go and cause the kidneys to reabsorb more water and would get back to that ideal level. If the concentration of water is too high, that would also be detected by the hypothalamus. So therefore, the response would be that less ADH would be produced. You'd end up with more dilute urine, and the water level of your blood would decrease, and you'll get back to that ideal level. Right, so that is how negative feedback is involved directly with controlling water.
Okay, right. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching that and it's made some sort of sense. Remember, when using one of these large models, make sure that you're going and you're gathering students around you so you can go and ask lots of questions and answers. Right? If needs be, make sure potentially have a long list of questions made up beforehand so you have some sort of reference to what you want to go and ask them as well, which always helps. Right, now the next video clip is just going to look at how we can go and just model the renal system, because that is something that they will need to know and need to be able to talk about in the separate biology content. Right, I'll see you in a bit.
When we're talking about the function of the kidneys, it can be broken down into a number of stages, and it's important that when describing these or describing the process, you include each of these stages. The first stage is talking about how the blood is brought to the kidneys. So the blood is brought to the kidneys through the renal artery, which is branched off from the aorta. The second thing to take into consideration is the fact that the kidney is regulating the water concentration in the blood. Right? It does this by altering its salt concentrations and is quite reliant on the hormone ADH. So the filtered excess water, right, so the salts in urea from the blood that's filtered out by ultrafiltration in the kidneys is what goes and forms urine. The urine is transported along tubes called urethras to the bladder. In the bladder, this urine is stored until the body gets rid of it. And the purified blood returns back to the circulation system through the renal vein, which eventually goes and takes the blood back to the heart via the vena cava.
Hopefully that's all made sense. There's some key things to remember when you're going and modelling the renal system. All of the bits, it will take a little bit of time to make them. But once you've got them all made, you can go store them in a cupboard and they'll be there for next time. It's a really nice visual way to really engage students and get them thinking about what's going on at any one time. And it allows you to ask them lots and lots of questions. They can then go and move on to looking at how different kidney conditions and different conditions involving the renal system can occur, and then they can go back to those notes or the activity that was based on the modelling activity that you've just been through. If you've got any comments or questions, just drop them below and I will attempt to get back to you. Right, thanks.